What is that notch about? Wait, what? Why is there a notch on this phone? Nah, nah, B. Nah.
Thinking about you, dreaming about you, I don't wanna be without you, yeah. Feel the talking, heaven walking, been about you, still about you.
What is the deal, beautiful people? Welcome to Lifestyles Defined, where we discuss our favorite passions at length, technology. My name is Ramon. Let's talk about the Asus ZenFone 5. I don't know. This struck me as a very weird device. So I started to I ran across a few articles and I started to read the specs, and I thought, okay, good for Asus, good for Asus. And you know, as an American, it sucks the way we're currently exposed to smartphones. Like if you go into a T-Mobile or a AT&T store, or Verizon, what have you, because here, this is by and large how we acquire our phones, through the carriers. It's almost depressing what you see, and as a tech guy, I'm just left shaking my head. Right? There's an iPhone and there's a Samsung. There may be an LG if you're lucky, or there may be a Pixel if you're extremely lucky, but that's it. Right? HTC comes and goes based on how they feel like getting their act together or not. So there's never really any good choices of phones. And I know for a fact, like if you look at the OnePlus, there's some dope stuff out there. BlackBerry's got some dope stuff. You know, there's a lot of really dope, the Mate, the Honors. There's a lot of dope Android phones out there from these very prestigious companies that are very big overseas and in China, I suppose, in Europe as well. And we don't know any of them. We don't, as an American, because we're not, gone are the days of Expansys. I don't know how long you guys been around, but I'm from the days of Expansys where you want that Nokia communicator, you sent your several $100 into the site to have it sent in from overseas. Like, these days are done. People don't even want to pay $400 or $500 for the subsidized cost of the phone over 2 years in the contract. Now we're at a place where people just want to pay $20, $30 a month on the phone. So that whole thing has is it evolutionized or revolutionized, right? So because of this, our scope is very, very limited, and I always enjoy coming across devices like the Asus ZenFone 5. And I enjoy it because it's like, oh, hey, there's other people out there doing work, and it's a dope device. Let me see what's happening. Plus, I know Asus, you don't see their hardware everywhere. I know they're most known for their laptops, or at least I most know them for their laptops. And you would go on Best Buy and you'd see some amazing laptops from these guys. Even if you've had the opportunity to go in a Microsoft store, you may have run across a few of them that like, whoa, these things are super thin, very nicely designed. They're dope. It's a dope company. So to see this phone from them, I was like, oh, okay, cool, good for them. And I started to read the specs, and it's coming in with a Snapdragon 636 with 4 or 6 gigs of RAM, and that squarely puts it in the medium or the mid-tier range of smartphones. Maybe with that 6 gigs of RAM, it puts it to mid to high range. It's got a 6.2-inch display. It says Full HD, but I think it is a 1080p display. It's an LCD display. 33 milliamp battery. It's got some sort of crazy tech in there. They're saying it's AI, but whatever. It's marketing. But the phone knows when it's at 100%, and something with the charger, it turns it off. And it tries to maintain that level without overcharging it, so it prolongs the life of the battery, which is probably a good thing, because it's not an iPhone that you can take to an Apple store down the block to replace. So that's good. It's got dual camera cluster on the back, one of which is a wide angle, so you got your normal and a wide angle. I quite like that setup. I didn't like the 2x zoom that we see on a lot of phones, but whatever. And then there was something that I saw in watching a few videos. I was watching Unbox Therapy, and I just got turned off. And it was so crazy because I read about the phone, I don't know. The pictures I saw of it was kind of off. It was just a blank slate, so nothing really stood out about it. I was like, all right, this looks like a cool phone. Good to know. Noted. And then I ran across Lou's video, and the crazy thing, like when he turned it on and I saw that notch, I was immediately turned off. I was disgusted, to be honest with you. This is something that really bothers me because you guys would know I'm not a big Apple fan. In fact, I'm a huge Apple hater. I wake up every morning, I brush my teeth, I look myself in the mirror, and I say, what can I find to make fun of on Facebook? What has Apple done today that I can make fun of them on Facebook? Right? This is my day. Don't judge me. You got to accept who you are in order to move on in life. So one of the things that and I sort of glazed over it in my review of the iPhone 10. If you guys want to check that out, it's on the channel. But I wanted to give an objective review of the iPhone. And this is part of who I am as a person and what we do here is you need to be objective. Even though I loathe this company, it doesn't mean I can't review their product objectively. And I gave the iPhone 10 some high marks. Not everything's perfect about the phone, but I glazed over the notch. It wasn't my favorite part of the phone. I think it's piss poor design, but I don't think it's worth losing sleep like everyone else does, for two reasons. One, it's not my main phone, so I'm not losing shit over over that notch. And two, this is for you to be accepting of that notch. You need to be in the Apple camp and sip the Apple Kool-Aid. Apple tells you how to feel about the product they sell you. And when you understand that and you understand how Apple works, then you get it. To people who own this phone, it's not a big deal. They don't care that they have this $1,000 display and they're losing 10% of their screen real estate because of this piss poor notch. They don't care about that, right? They don't care. And to be quite honest, if you really scrutinize that notch and you go back and you listen to a lot of the marketing and the keynote about the notch, that notch is there. Yes, it is piss poor design and it is a compromise, but there's added value. And what I mean by that is that notch is just not there to piss you off or to look like the devil's horns. That notch is there because they couldn't find enough space to house all of the technology for Face ID. And that is one of the biggest draws of the iPhone 10. It's Face ID. So you're giving up. You're buying into a not so attractive notch, but you get this amazing face detection that always works. I think that's acceptable. When I look back at Asus ZenFone 5 and I see that notch, I don't see added value. I don't see someone saying, yes, we put this in here because we couldn't put this super high-tech camera and face scanning Xbox Connect type stuff in the front of your phone and we just had to. No, I see a company blatantly copying Apple. Why? Like, that irks me how these companies just copy. Apple removes the headphone jack. People say, oh, enough of that. No, stop. And then here it is. Apple has a notch. Let's get a notch. Why? And this is coming from such a big... Okay, so Asus may not be as big as someone like HP or Samsung, but they're a big company. And I gotta believe that the people who work there, who design these phones, the engineers, the designers, I gotta believe that they're every bit as passionate as you and I. And they know this shit is ugly. But it's hard to fight the idea that there's some guy in the board meeting saying, no, let's just do what Apple's doing. Put a damn notch on it. Put a notch on it. But sir, that notch Apple made was because of a very particular reason. We don't have those constraints. We don't need a notch. No. Put a notch. Let's cash in on this notch business while it's hot. In my mind, that's what I see. And I'm sorry, but I have to dismiss Asus for this. I am not on board with this phone, and it sucks because it could have been a dope piece of hardware, and especially at the expected price around 500 or so, this phone could have been a killer. I'm not with this. I want to know what you guys think about that notch in the comment section below. And I'm not talking about the notch itself and if it's ugly, you don't know. I'm talking about the fact that they're blatantly copying Apple for no apparent reason other than to just copy them. I can't get with that. You need to be yourself. My name is Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace.
Well, I guess. And the reason we started Lifestyles Defined is because if we weren't on camera arguing about these things, the technologies, the phones, the iPhones, the Androids, the cameras, the games, we'd be on the phone arguing about it. We'd be in each other's houses arguing about it. So why not just put it in front of a camera for everyone to enjoy it the way we do? That's what Lifestyles Defined is all about. We just